to Living Change. If you are new here, my name is Maria and I am the host of this podcast. So, usually what we do here is we choose a topic and then I introduce opinions on said topic. Today's topic is the widely debated climate change. On one end, we have people who believe climate change is real and that it is our fault, and that if we don't do something soon, we will see dire effects by 2050. But on the other side, we have people who don't believe it is real, or if it is real, it isn't a big deal, and that humans have nothing to do with it. Now, if you could help me welcome our first guest, Dr. Wright.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for having me on Living Change today. I'm so excited to be discussing climate change. I graduated from Iowa State University with my doctorate degree specializing in climate change. I'm very excited for today.
And as for our next guest, please welcome Charlotte Banks. Okay, and what do you define as climate change?
Climate change is the rising temperatures of our planet. Along with climate change comes glacier meltings and rising water levels.
How about you, Dr. Wright? What do you define as climate change?
I would define climate change as a global or regional change in climate patterns. And you start to notice this towards the mid to late 20th century, attributing to the large amounts of increasing carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases from fossil fuels and other things as so.
Now, Ms. Banks, what is your main reason for opposing climate change?
I support climate change, but it is not human-caused or in any way affected by humans. Climate change is a natural occurrence that has happened time and time again. Climate change brought the end to the Ice Age 2.6 million years ago.
And what about you, Dr. Wright? Why do you support the idea of climate change?
That's a simple question, Maria. Well, our climate is always changing around us, whether we realize it or not, and multiple studies published in the peer-reviewed scientific journals show that 97% or more of actively publishing climate scientists agree climate warming trends over the past century are extremely likely due to human activities. In addition, most of the leading scientific organizations worldwide have issued public statements endorsing this position. Observations throughout the world make it clear that climate change is occurring, and scientific research demonstrates that greenhouse gases emitted by humans are the primary driver, which is why I fully support the idea of climate change and will be willing to work with anyone to get this done.
Now, Ms. Banks, can you give an example of how climate change is impacting our environment?
Yes, we are perfectly fine. We shouldn't feel the effects of climate change for another 4 billion years, according to many scientists. Everything seems fine from where I'm standing. Our winters are still cold, our springs are still rainy, and our summers are still humid. In fact, we've had record cold winters this past year. I seriously don't understand how anyone could believe this nonsense when the facts are all laid out right in front of them.
Dr. Wright, if the Earth has warmed and cooled throughout history, what makes scientists think that humans are causing global warming now?
Climate change is happening all around us, whether we realize it or not. The cryosphere is melting, which causes our ocean levels to rise and expand, which become more acidic, and the weather is becoming more extreme due to intense heat waves causing more evaporation, fueling superstorms. Human life will also suffer. The climate change is a major threat to agriculture. The agriculture will have to go through long droughts and extreme flooding, all while trying to produce crops for the rest of the world to consume. The warm air, polluted air affects our health as well. We have smog, and the smog irritates our lungs, and animals and us humans. And also the greenhouse gases we emit does not help this at all. It increases the rate at which global warming happens, as well as our infrastructure and transport is at risk from these superstorms that we are creating. The animals are not safe either. They are not able to adapt due to the change happening at such an alarming rate. due to the greenhouse gases that we are releasing. The ice where the animals live in the Arctic is vanishing, causing them to vanish with it. The coral and shellfish are suffering greatly due to the acidic levels of the ocean, and the forests are more prone to deadly infestations and fire due to the extreme droughts that we are having. We cannot let this go any longer. We must help them in one way or another.
Okay, now this question is open for both of you. What role do you believe the government should have?
The government should play no role in climate change when there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. They will have wasted billions of dollars in the long run if they continue their efforts. All this wasted money could go towards things that we really need, like more hospitals and better welfare.
I understand your concerns about how the government could take advantage of climate change, but they need to step in and do something or else this will go untreated. They need to protect and restore key ecosystems, support small agricultural producers, promote green energy, and combat short-lived climate pollutions for long-term results. They need to work together to put an end to this. With our emissions increasing at an alarming rate still, it clearly is not helping from what they have done already.
You're right. If climate change is real, how come we are still having rainy springs, cold winters, and humid summers?
Climate change itself is naturally occurring, yes, so we will still have our normal seasons, but the seasons we do have will bring along surprises such as superstorms, droughts, and extreme flooding, which is what climate change is causing. And due to us humans and our greenhouse gas emissions rising, we have to face the extreme weather at an alarming rate and expect for worse storms and more intense snowstorms and more drastic variations in weather.
Now, Miss Banks, do you believe people are making a big deal out of nothing?
Yes, we are perfectly fine.
Thanks for tuning in to Living Change. Now you decide who you think is right and tune in next week for the discussion surrounding the topic of the Flat Earth Theory. This is Maria signing off.